right, here we are, episode 10 of the Rehashables. How you doing, pal?
Good to see you, my man. Already mid-May in the thick of the NBA playoffs. So that's been taking
Yes.
up a lot of time. Great job. You and Beds with a little playoff preview. But every night there's good basketball on, so it's been hard to sneak in these shows or movies.
It's tough. With basketball, like every night has great games, great players, matchups you want to see, hockey mixed in there too. So it makes it hard to watch shows. Plus, life is crazy. So was able to watch a few good things that I'm looking forward to talking to you about. Sounds like you watched a bunch of things too.
Yeah, I got about 5 things. No movies. Not going to look at this time. No movies. All series actually. One special. So
I do this thing where I get on, like last week, I spend freaking the amount of time it would take me to watch a movie going through Netflix and Prime and Disney Plus, and it's like, what do I want to watch? I'm going through the Apple Store. What do I want to buy? And like, no movies caught my eyes to watch. We did start, and this isn't something that we'll talk about. We did start the movie, The Idea of You, with Anne Hathaway. Do you hear about this?
We started that too.
Yeah, which is good so far. I mean, it's not anything we want to like rehash, but as far as movies, that's the only thing that we've started, and it's all right so far for a rom-com.
I'm a big Anne Hathaway defender. I don't know if you remember this. All right. Yeah. No opinion. But let me tell you, you probably don't remember this, but probably about, 10, 11 years ago, I didn't think we were going to start talking about Anne Hathaway, but it's an interesting point. She hosted the Oscars with James Franco. You remember this?
I do.
James Franco was such like an ass during that and didn't seem to give a shit at all and did terrible. Yeah. And she tried so hard and freaking put herself out there. And from that moment on, I am like, I still have a lot of Anne Hathaway stock because I just think she's an awesome performer. She's been great, I think, in a lot of, obviously Les Mis and Interstellar. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Interstellar. For me, I think of The Devil Wears Prada when it comes to her.
Yep.
It had my boy Adrian Grenier, Vinny Chase in that movie.
Yeah.
Because last movie that he was in, and Meryl Streep. Anyways, that's what I think of when I think of Anne Hathaway. So there's not a lot of movies like The Idea of You, at least that we watch. So it was something me and Tarka watched together. So we're about halfway through, and it's fine. There's
that one, and then the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, that other rom. So hey, rom-coms are great. Maybe they're making a little comeback.
Easy watching. Tara watched that on the plane to Aruba, and there was a few moments that I think she probably thought she shouldn't be watching that with Aubrey sitting right next to her. So.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, anyway, that's good.
I don't know if you've seen the whole movie.
I've not. You mean Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell one?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So there's a few parts in there. She's like, I don't think
maybe not. Yeah. All right. Good. Not. That's a whole other section. Is what movies you should not watch on an airplane will be one of our episodes.
Or with your kids. There was a few lately that I was just like, man, I don't know if we can watch this. But
we got.
That'll be another pod. That'll be the back end of the next Rehashables.
Sounds good.
So, anyways, that's it for me with movies. But why don't we dig into the thing that both of us definitely watched and loved? Why don't you lead it off?
It was the Tom Brady roast. I mean, when they first announced that it was happening, I kind of was like, okay, you know what I mean? There's been a ton of Patriot content lately, obviously with the Apple series that really left a bad taste in my mouth.
Brady's just finish it.
Yeah, don't. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people have, but emotions about this, and people started talking about it the night of. My daughter Marin was sick that night, so we were dealing with some stuff of that. So I didn't watch it live, but you watched it live, and it was one of those like moments that we love and stuff, right?
Well, you're following it on Twitter, and you're seeing what people are commenting about it. Maybe you're in a few text groups with people that are watching it, and it had all of those things going. So kind of to echo what you said, I didn't have any real awareness of this leading up to it coming out. I think maybe Mom mentioned it or some other people mentioned it during the week. And it's like, okay, Sunday night, 8:00, probably be in a position to watch that. I think basketball games or hockey games were all done during the day. So like this was the thing to watch on Sunday night. But yeah, started watching it. Had no clue that it was live, number one, which makes sense that it was live. Also had no clue that it was 3 hours long. Like I didn't even know it was 3 hours long till I was like 2 hours into it. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Doesn't seem like there's an end in sight to this thing. But can't start out hot, man. Like I don't know where you want to begin, but it started out hot. Like I loved the venue, loved Tom Brady right up front, which is obviously where he would be. All the former Patriot guys on one side, all the comedians on the other side. Seemed like a full house. Kevin Hart's the freaking man. I don't know what you think about Kevin Hart.
Unbelievable. He was so good as the host. And when he set the one of my favorite jokes, the whole thing, when he set the tone and he started going after the Giselle stuff,
Oh God.
and you're like, wow, no holds barred.
Yeah.
Your mouth drops. But when he said, hey, man, Giselle gave you an ultimatum. It's either family or football. Anytime you can come back and go 8-9 and get bounced first round of the playoffs, you freaking go back and you choose football or whatever. And he was great. He was so funny. He was so funny.
So funny. Like, I'm kind of indifferent to Kevin Hart. I don't know what you think about him. Like, I don't love him. I don't hate him, but I think that the roast made me like him even more.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be interested in seeing Kevin Hart in person. I bet you he'd be freaking hilarious.
It's such a hard job. You know what I mean? Because you have some people up there that aren't funny and aren't comedians. And you got to like really like walk that line and the moments in between. It was just awesome. It was a great roast. I liked the Rob Lowe roast from a few years ago. Obviously, other ones growing up.
Didn't watch that.
This is just I couldn't believe how far they went, and it was awesome.
Well, what I had heard was that his family was off limits. Obviously, minus Giselle, but like the kids didn't get involved. And then I guess there was a red line with the craft massage stuff.
Yeah. Was that real or was that not real? Like,
I heard that was real. Like, okay. I mean, what do I freaking know? You know what I mean? I just read what I see online, but like, my sources says it was real. But that's what it sounded like, because he did seem sincere when Jeff Ross made the Robert Kraft joke and he walked up and said, don't say that shit again. That seems like maybe that was a previous conversation. I mean, I guess you don't do that if it's not real, I would think, because I mean, everyone knows what they're going to say. It's not like...
The fact that I think you're right is that no one else made a joke later, because that is like such prime material. Like, totally. They were picking on absolutely everybody in the room, and they made some things on Kraft, but that is like low-hanging fruit.
The Kraft was there. Like, you could have let him have it. Curtis and I were talking. I don't even know if I talked about this with anyone else, but you could have made jokes about Brady kissing his son.
Yeah. I heard that was Nikki Glazier. Yeah.
But that was generally off limits, which is fine. But you could definitely make fun of him for that weird fathers type stuff. But I think the things they hit Brady on were great, though. I mean, it was obviously repetitive after 3 hours on certain things, but like, I don't know that there's a better person than Brady to do this with at this point. Like, he's as big as it gets.
I mean, the only other person...
You do Michael Jordan?
Who I don't think has the sense of humor, or LeBron. Like, LeBron, I guess, would be the next like thing, but I can't ever imagine LeBron having the guts to get up there.
And people would annihilate him.
You know what I mean? He would, if it was a smart career move, and you could just be like, hey, sit on stage for 3 hours and just take it and laugh and look like you're having a good time no matter what, because that was like the Patriot thing to put like an end on this era, the Belichick, Brady, Kraft era. This is what the Apple thing like should have been like. Totally. It was awesome to like not have like barely any mention of Tampa Bay and almost that be like kind of like an afterthought. Tons of like Boston stuff, all, people from all over the years in the background. It was like, God, and then when you see him, because remember you and I talked about this, we always just wanted Belichick and Brady to like get along and like say good things about one another, and we never got that. And I felt like this was kind of that at the end.
It was good. How about this? Who is your favorite non-comedian? Like, favorite former Patriot guy?
It would, you know what? You're probably be surprised by this. I think it was freaking Bledsoe.
No shit. I am surprised by that.
He started it off. So the amount of pressure that he had, this is why. Was he the funniest? I think Edelman was also like incredible. He was really great as far as I think delivery and some of the stuff he said. But Bledsoe, good for him for being there. He had I thought his joke about, you know what, you may have 7 rings, but I'll have one thing that you'll never have, 28th wedding anniversary or whatever. And like, that was a funny, that's a hilarious line. You know what I mean? And the wine thing, and he's just, it takes a lot of balls. That guy could have been so angry, and in today's society, just like hold grudges, and he rolled with the punches. It was awesome.
Definitely. I wouldn't think that they're especially close at this point.
I know, right?
But they're obviously like tied together, so so that's why he's there. If it was me, I would say I thought Belichick was really good, and I thought Edelman was really good. Yeah. So nothing specific about their jokes that I can think of, but I just remember thinking like, wow, Belichick did a really good job considering who he is, and I just freaking love Edelman. Always be my second favorite, Pat.
Yeah. So who was your favorite overall?
Honestly, Nikki Glaser. I thought she was freaking hilarious. I don't even know who that is.
She's really like a comedian who does like these roasts, which don't happen, very often. But Netflix will be changing that. But her line about like crypto and being like, even Gronk be like, me know that not real money or whatever, was so funny. She was incredible. She
had some great Giselle jokes.
Yeah.
And there was some funny jokes about like the worst idea besides you saying like, oh, you should do jujitsu or something like that.
Yeah. you should stay for extra classes or whatever. It's like so funny.
But she was really funny because I think she caught me off guard because I just don't have any familiarity with her. And then she came out and crushed. And I actually think a lot of people would say she did a really good job. That other guy, what's his name? Tony?
He was my number 2. Tony Hinchcliffe. He's a podcaster, comedian. He was like going up on stage and he was going down the line. And like, it was brilliant. It was so good.
I love that anyone's fair game in these things too. If you're there, if you're in the room, like you're going to get shat on at some point or another. And all the comedians going after each other. There's a guy, Andrew Schultz. He's the guy that has like the funny mustache.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know how well you know him, but he's on Rogan a lot. He actually has his own podcast called Flagrant, and he's freaking great. I listen to his podcast once in a while too. So I thought he was good, but honestly, dude, I wouldn't have changed one thing about it. So
I think it's going to be it's a home run for Netflix. Brilliant. I think I heard this too, that they had this on a night. They weren't competing against anything. There was no NBA playoffs at nighttime, no sports. And it was just brilliant. And again, having it live was just so good. So
Brady got paid $25 million for this.
I'm
sure it's money well spent for Netflix because it was event TV like they want. And I'm sure they got plenty of views and it was part of the conversation. And I think they gave Chappelle $50 million for a handful of specials. I mean, what's different than giving him $25 million for one 3-hour event? It's money well spent. Did you see the fake quote that's attributed to Brady about this?
No.
It was just about like, so what? I got $25 million. Who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't take $25 million to have a bunch of comedians shit all over your ex-wife or something like that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like great. That's true. It would have been, obviously they're not there, that relationship, but I think the only exclamation point on the whole thing was if Giselle showed up. That would have been insane. That obviously didn't.
She would have showed up. I mean, I have no idea what their relationship's like, and you've seen the quotes that she was not very happy with the jokes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't blame her.
It would have turned into a pretty hardcore roast of her.
Oh, it did. It did.
She was there. I'm not surprised that she wasn't, but there was some. I think Bridget Monahan got in on the action too. I think they made something about made a joke about him leaving his pregnant. Girlfriend.
That was hilarious. Only other 2 things I wanted to know. Did you notice how good Jeff Ross and Kevin Hart were good at laughing on stage?
They're selling each other's jokes.
Holy smokes, do they sell it? Belichick was telling a joke, and Kevin Hart was on the ground pound, he thought it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, those guys are so good at selling jokes. I was like, wow, that was one thing I noticed.
What's the other thing? Because I have something else I want to add.
The awkwardness between Belichick and Kraft.
Yeah, weird.
It was weird. It is what it is, but it was strange.
It is what it is. I mean, good for them for both going up there, but it seemed like Kraft wanted to sell it like nothing was wrong more than Belichick did. Obviously, Belichick has maybe more of the sour feelings.
It's awkward, and I feel like as far as if you're looking at stock prices in the last year, it's gone. I mean, the favorability of Kraft has gone down, and I think people now love Belichick, and he's in a great position.
It's probably boosted his
absolutely
likability, but he's still in a weird spot. Brady's still just riding high, though. Freaking Brady's a god. He's god status right now.
He really is. He really is. So I'm anxious to see who's going to be next.
I saw something today that it might be Tiger Woods.
Holy smokes. I don't. You get paid that amount of money, and this is what it does. People love you after this. Just get through the night.
Yeah, get through the night. There's a lot of shit that you can make fun of Tiger Woods about.
And
he doesn't seem like a guy that has the sense of humor, or maybe he does behind the scenes. But when you see him with the Barstool guys, you're like, man, freaking Tiger Woods is awesome. He's probably fun to hang out with or whatever. But throughout his career, he's always been very stoic. He's probably more like Belichick than Brady with the way he handles the press and the things that he says, doesn't give too much. So if it was him, that might be one of the only people that is on that same level as Brady.
100%. I can't think of a baseball player.
LeBron, Tiger Woods.
Yeah. And if they did get like a Jordan, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't think Jordan would do that.
Yeah.
But
it would be awesome if he did.
Great job. And maybe it doesn't have to be an athlete too. Like I'd love to see like a Leo up there. You know what I mean? Like
it'd be great.
Leo or one of those,
But even then there's less and less of those guys. I mean, you look at that Mount Rushmore of people, it's Tom Cruise, Leo. I mean,
Tom Cruise. that would be sign me up for that one.
It would be so freaking weird. God, it'd be weird to see.
That would be him just fake laughing for 3 hours would be quite.
You'd have like Scientologist people on one side of the room and then like all the comedians.
It'd be so funny. God, that'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Last thing I want to mention about it. Funny little tie into the podcast. Did I tell you this? All right, let me know if I did. But Chris Brockman's wife is a comedian.
Oh, yes.
And she wrote for this roast for 5 weeks.
No way.
So since Chris came on the podcast, I follow his wife on Instagram now, and she posted like behind the scenes pictures with Gronk and Edelman and the whole thing, like on set doing like the warm-ups, and she made a note about what an amazing 5 weeks it was writing for the special. So she's like a legit comedian. She's not like Nikki Glaser, like going to be on the actual roast, although she does stand up and it seems really funny, but she obviously writes too. So she wrote a lot of those jokes.
That is incredible. You did not tell me that. Love that. Would love to get her on the pod and tell her freaking story. Right? That is.
I'm sure she has a ton of interest in coming in a Southern Maine podcast.
Right. She just wants to really break into this market, and stuff. But the amount of time and effort that went into this, that's such a cool thing. That's a really cool story. Did not know that.
Ties to the pod. So
Rich Eisman, was the one that freaking opened up the special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a freaking cool thing.
Yeah. It was awesome.
I mean, I'm sure Brockman was actually in the room.
Which is, I'm sure he was incredible.
Which is very
cool.
Great
job by Netflix and good for Brady. Still flying high.
So listen, we have maybe 18 more minutes left. So what do you got? Hit me. Let's go. What do you watch?
It's going to go through fast. Number 2, you're not going to see this coming because we haven't talked about this. I don't even know if you heard about this, but Bon Jovi has a 4-part documentary. What?
I heard about this. Tell me about it. I thought of you, obviously.
This is literally, I say this, made for me. It was a 4-part documentary series about Bon Jovi. Those that don't know, Bon Jovi in my life from like 13 to like, I don't know, 22 all through college was like a huge impact on my life. I saw him in concert 7 times.
We've seen him a couple times together, at least I can remember.
We've seen him a couple times together. When Mom, shout out to Jess Gagney, my classmate and friend who won tickets on Q97.9 and got to bring us on stage for a few songs. You and Mom were up in the nosebleeds.
Absolutely, dude.
Jess and I got on stage and got to like shake John Bon Jovi's hand and anyway, some of my literal best memories of my childhood revolve around Bon Jovi. His music, their music really spoke to me. It was very positive. It was very motivational.
He's a freaking legend. Bon Jovi's awesome. They have a great catalog of songs. Obviously haven't done much in recent history, but like, dude, they're freaking awesome.
And this documentary is so good and so well done. How they did it, kind of going back to what they did, how they got their stuff, but also the current things, because he's going through some major health issues. He may never sing again. He may never sing again, ever.
Really?
And he's going through that journey right now. But just to see the toll that it is taking, he's only 60. He's in really good shape, but his voice is just can't work anymore. Yeah. Anyway, it really, I couldn't watch it. I'd watch it all over again. What's it on? It's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's a 4-part.
I will watch that. That was quietly on my list, and I think as far as a doc goes, that'd be right up my alley.
It was just so well done. They got all the people interviewed. Such
Richie Sambora is back because didn't they have a fallout?
Oh yeah, they still always now and then. But yeah. they dive into that stuff, just how they got started, and John Bon Jovi's the man. He's incredible.
Yeah. Big great toe touches on stage.
Great toe touches. You always love. You always love saying that. It is toe touch.
Obviously, I had to work that in. I mean, guy's got a good toe touch. What can I say?
Anyway, but I wanted to talk about that. And it's so good. It's great. So
all right, love it. Thanks for mentioning it. I didn't even realize it was out, so I knew it was coming. All right, next for me. You ready?
Yep.
TV show called Fallout on Amazon Prime. Have you heard about it?
Okay, I have heard about it. Many people have said I have not watched it. Tell me all about it though.
Yeah, so it's a TV show based off a video game that I played back in freaking 20 years ago.
What was it on? What was was it computer or was it?
That was an Xbox game back in the day.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was on computer, truthfully, but like I played it on Xbox back in the day, and it's just like post-apocalyptic, post a nuclear bomb getting dropped or a series of nuclear bombs getting dropped, and there's been sequels to the games and stuff. But when they decided to make a TV show of it, kind of piqued my interest on what it was, brought back some memories. Then a trailer came out, which I might have shared with you at the time. I was like, shit, that actually looks good.
Yeah.
And it's rare that a TV show based on a video game is actually good. I don't know if you're aware of this, but like it's a known thing that like video game adaptations of movies to TV shows, they just typically aren't good. Then Last of Us came out on HBO, which was a video game adaptation, is probably the best one. Probably still, maybe. This is different. But then this comes out and it's like, wow, 2 good video game adaptations back to back, which opens up this catalog of all this intellectual property that, if done right, could be very successful. So anyways, Fallout is set in that universe. It's not like any characters that I recognize, but it's set in that universe. It's shot very well. Great special effects, great action. It's gory, has a good story, focuses on 3 main characters. I don't want to go into the details. I guess there's people that live underground in vaults, and then they come to the surface. There's one person that was in a vault, and then a couple people that lived on the surface, and their stories kind of intertwine. Bunch of that guys in this. The girl that stars in it is named Ella Purnell.
Yeah, she's in
Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
And I honestly, watching this, I think she'll probably be a star. Like, this is a good breakout role for her. She's really good looking. She does a nice job in the show. There's a guy by the name of Walter Goggins. Have you ever heard of him?
I do know him. Yeah, he's that guy. He's in a ton of stuff.
He's that guy for sure. And he's awesome in this. He plays a great character called the Ghoul. And then there's kind of a breakout guy named Aaron Moten, who plays a different guy, black guy. He's good too, but he hasn't been in anything. So I gave it an A- on my little rankings I do on my stories, and I freaking loved it from beginning to end. 8 episodes, easy watch. Michael Emerson is in it. You may know him.
No kidding.
From Lost, he's in the first couple episodes. So among a few other guys. Go ahead.
I've had a few people tell me about it, and they've said it's fantastic. Is it like a mature show, like rated R?
It's definitely gory. And
okay. Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of like that sort of stuff, and I mean some people.
I definitely would love to check it out. You're talking about video game stuff because Halo too, right? Halo has been another one that kind of has gotten pretty good reviews, right?
They had a TV show on Paramount Plus, and I watched the first season of it. It was decent. There's a second season on there as well. I started it. It's okay. Didn't quite hook me like this. Maybe I'll get back to it, but I don't think it's on the level of this or a lot of the other shows that we talk about. It's just kind of something that is there, and I might get back to. But this is definitely highly recommended from my point of view. If you like that sort of stuff, post-apocalyptic, a little bit of a mystery box type show. There are some things, everything isn't quite the way it seems at the beginning, and by the end, I love it when story elements and flashbacks, put things under a different light. So it has all of those things.
Also, it looks like Zach Cherry, the guy from Severance. He's also...
Oh, yeah, dude. He is in that, too.
Is in it, too. So, yeah, I will definitely check this out. I mean, this is up there. This and Silo, it sounds like 2 things I need to watch that you've seen. I got to say
Silo above this because I thought Silo was one of the better things that I've watched in the past few years. But this is definitely... This is probably easier watching. There's a good story to it, but it's probably a little bit easier to watch.
Awesome. I'm glad you brought it up because it is very popular and people have been loving it. So
yeah, it's definitely the moment of this right now. So what else you got?
Next for me, Shogun. I know you haven't had a chance to finish it yet. I have watched it, and I thought it was a great show. Like I thought it was like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it 7.8, 7.9. I thought it was really well done. Everyone loved it. I loved all the actors, the stuff that takes place in Japan, and I thought they ended it really nicely. Very satisfying ending and stuff. I know you were like halfway through, or are you?
I'm like 6 episodes in. Yeah. And I love it. I love it. The thing that I struggle with is that like you really can't take your eyes off the screen for even a second.
You
You know,
can't.
just because it is a lot of Japanese, a lot of subtitles, you really do have to be focused on reading those subtitles. So
Yep.
even on like a normal show where I just want to look at my phone even for 2 seconds, like you really can't do that. You feel like you miss stuff. So that's caused me to like have to go back and rewatch certain sections of it. But love the way it's shot, love the world. Not enough things in feudal Japan, in my point of view, like a very cool, beautiful setting for a show. Great characters.
Yeah, it
I
was.
can't wait to see how it finishes.
It's beautifully shot. I did see today, because I don't know if you know this or not, but it's obviously based on a book, and
Yeah.
this whole season was the book.
Yeah.
I did hear today that the guy that plays Tornaga, who's like executive producer, he's probably one of the more well-known Japanese
that guy.
American actors. He's in a lot of stuff. That they are potentially signing a deal and coming back for season 2. It was such a huge success for FX. You know, it was good. A lot of comps to Game of Thrones and stuff with like the chess playing and behind the scenes type things that are happening.
Was it better or worse than the show that you're talking about? Like, or do you see those comparisons as being fair?
I definitely can see the comparisons being fair, but it doesn't. The ending, it's just not. It's not a huge flashy ending. It's a lot of, if you like the Tywin Lannister like chessboard moving stuff, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. So
it seems like the show is a lot of that, even from what I've seen so far.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of Handmaid's Tale in the sense that the first season of that show was based on the book, and everything that they did afterwards was created. So if they went that route with Shogun and there was more material they thought they had to make future episodes and the quality was there and the effects were there, I'm all for it. That's going to be the next thing that I finish.
Yeah, you only got 4 left. You might as well finish that, and we can wrap up and chat about it a little bit. But if you ever do another pod on shows that started strong and then went downhill, Handmaids might be my number one.
Really?
I thought Handmaids was. I thought the last 2. I couldn't even get through. We couldn't even get through the last season. It got so dark.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely not up to the same level as the first season. I loved the first season. It's one of those shows that me and Tara both watched for whatever reason. So we will see it through to the end when it eventually comes back. I think it'll be its last season.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's Shogun. What else? That's for me.
That's it for me. We got a few more minutes. Tell me what else you've been watching.
Just 2 things. I mentioned it before. The second half of Invincible came back. So I watched Invincible. It got renewed for 2 more seasons.
Nice.
Still got, a 9% rating out of 10 on IMDb, a 95% rating on Rotten Tomato. Amazing show. I love it. I've been talking about it forever, so I'm not going to dive too much into that. The other one, have you heard of Baby Reindeer?
Baby Reindeer?
Yeah. So this is when you're talking about Netflix stuff. Netflix does a really good job of their top 10. I wonder how much of it is accurate versus how much they're pushing. But Baby Reindeer was kind of it was the number 1 show on Netflix, a British show that follows 2 Scottish people in England, though. It's about this woman who aggressively stalks this guy who's a bartender / comedian, and it's based on a true story.
Okay.
Or whatever. Fun. The woman who it's based off, actually, they had an article on Barstool today that she was on Piers Morgan saying a lot of it wasn't true, but he pushed her anyway. It's a very uncomfortable show. I will say that. Knowing you'll be like, this is uncomfortable to watch at times.
What does that mean?
It's not fun. It's not like, it's some things that happen. You're like, holy, like, wow, this went really, really dark.
Is this new?
Yeah, it just came out.
Okay.
It came out probably a month ago or so, and there's 9 episodes. Check out the trailer, but I wouldn't recommend this one to just anybody. This, it's like I said, it's pretty dark.
But it's worth watching.
It's worth watching, yes. I would say it's worth watching for sure. It's very much in the conversation right now. I've seen it on Barstool. I saw it on my Lights Camera guys who chose to watch and stuff.
It'll be one of those things that now we have this conversation about. I'll probably see it all over my Twitter feed or
just watch the trailer. Some episodes are 30 minutes, some are 45. Nothing too crazy. But that's what I've watched this month.
Love it, dude. Anything coming up that you're especially excited about or planning to watch?
Not until the next one, because The Boys is back next month.
Yes. So we won't get to that till July, probably.
Yeah, I know. Probably even August, because it'll be 8 up, whatever. But I
cannot wait for that.
I cannot wait for The Boys to come out. Weirdly enough, you know what else is on my radar? X-Men 97.
I've seen that all over my Twitter feed, and it's kind of like Invincible, where it's like I don't like. I mean, I'm sure it's good. Like I just aren't really drawn to cartoon shows. And there's some good cartoons on Netflix too that people I follow are like. So I don't know. I've been hearing all about X-Men '97 too. So
like Van Lathan said it's like the best thing on TV right now. So Van Lathan has said, which is great. And I trust Van. We follow him, and he's. I like his takes and that kind of stuff. Invincible is so much different because it's very gruesome. Where X-Men '97 probably isn't, but I heard it's incredible. So that's definitely piquing my interest.
That was a sneak drop on Disney Plus, right? Or maybe it was known about. Like it was one of those things I had no awareness of it. Then it's like, oh yeah, this is on Disney Plus.
And that was after you. I remember watching X-Men Saturday mornings growing up, and that song and all that kind of stuff. But you were 15 when that came out and stuff. So
yeah, I had all kinds of girls and stuff. Yeah. I was kind of tied up with that sort of stuff.
You were just so busy, going to the drive-in or something like that. Just like
while you were watching cartoons.
The last thing I hope it comes out on rent this month is Challengers, that Zendaya tennis movie.
Big Zendaya guy for you. So
big Zendaya.
Is that at the movie theaters, or is that
coming? It was the movie theaters last month. Amazing reviews. Yep. Got me a tiny little bit of Oscar buzz, and it should be coming out hopefully this month to rent. So
that might be worth checking out. I thought the trailer was pretty good.
Again, people have loved it and said it's outstanding.
Except for when she freaking snapped her leg in the trailer. I didn't love that part.
Yeah.
But I might check that out too, depending on what I hear. Nothing is on my radar except for The Boys. So even you mentioning those things is news to me. But I'm sure we'll find some stuff to watch in the next month, and we'll do this again soon.
Well, awesome. I know it was a shorter one, but that's what we've been watching, and that was great. So
awesome, dude. Great to catch up.
Yep.
And we'll do it again in June.
All right, buddy.
All right. Later, pal.
See ya.